Hey guys, I'm JP. This is Justus Prep. We are an after-school academy and test prep company in Louisville, Kentucky, in Middletown to be exact. And in this video, or in this series of videos, this being the first one, what I want to do is help you on what I believe is the hardest part of the ACT test, which is the math section. Now, there are many reasons for why the math section is hard for most students, but I would say the primary reason is that it requires a breadth of knowledge. So there's just a lot that you need to know. There are many formulas that you need to have memorized. There are questions that deal with concepts that you might not have learned in school. They're more esoteric. And so you need to get familiar with all of these different things, which is what makes this part of the test so difficult. With the English and the reading and science, it's more contained, it's more predictable, and so I would say that's why they're easier. Nevertheless, what I want to do is help you to improve in this section. And so what we're going to do is go through a series of questions and exercises. We're going to do 3 each day for the foreseeable future. We'll see how far we get, but each day I'm going to put out a video doing 3 different problems and explaining how I do them. I'll solve them the textbook way, and I'll also give you advice on how to approach them with strategies so that you don't necessarily need to spend time calculating everything to get to the right answer. You can employ process of elimination and get to the answer more quickly. Let me also add that the perfect time to begin studying for this test is when you're in middle school. So middle schoolers, you should watch this video. Obviously, if you're in high school, you should definitely watch these. But middle schoolers, it's not too early for you. You should begin watching these videos. You have the capacity to do a lot of this math already. All right, so the first order of business is for us to get our hands on these exercises. What you will need to do is download the PDF. The link is in the description below for the website. Go and download that, print it out, and do the first 3 questions, and then come back to watch the rest of this video. All right, I am ready. I hope you're ready. Let's get into the first question. So here we have our first question. Number 1, which of the following is equivalent to z times z times z times z times z times z for all z? Now, if you know your exponent rules, for instance, if I have something like a times a, that's a squared. I can do 4 times 4, and that's also 4 squared. So if you know that exponent rule, which is that the exponents of the 2 numbers that are the same base are added together to create the new exponent. For instance, I could have something like this. X to the 3 times x to the 7, and that'll be x to the 3 plus 7, which is x to the 10. If you know that rule, then this is just z to the 1 times 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 z to the 1, which is z to the 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1, or z to the 6th. C. Now, let's say that you don't know this rule. What you can do, and with a lot of ACT questions, whenever you have variables in the question and variables in the answer choices, one thing that you can do is plug in your own numbers. So variables in the question, variables in the answer choices, plug in your own numbers. And you want to plug in easy numbers. For instance, here, an easy number would be 1. So let's say z equals 1. So then 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 obviously is 1. So then which of these answers is 1 when you plug in 1 into the z? That'd be 6 times 1. That's 6, not the answer. This is 1 plus 6, 7, not the answer. This is 1 to the 6th, which is 1. This is the answer. 6 to the 1, which is 6, not the answer. And 3 times z, 3 times 1 cubed, which would be 3 times 1, which is 3, not the answer. So you can do it by knowing your exponent rules, or if you have variables in the question and variables in the answer choices, you can always plug in easy numbers. All right, number 2. A rectangle is 3 times as long as it is wide. If the width of the rectangle is 2 inches, what is the rectangle's area in square inches? A rectangle is 3 times as long as it is wide. So what we can do is draw things out. So I'm going to try to draw a rectangle to scale. So a rectangle is 3 times as long, so that's 3 times as long as it is wide, and the width of the rectangle is 2 inches. So 2. That means this is 2, 2, and 2, or the whole thing is 6. So this is really a 2 by 6 rectangle. What is the rectangle's area? Well, area of a rectangle is length times width, which in this case is 6 times 2. So the answer is 12. Notice that what we did was we drew something out. For the ACT math, you always want to visualize what you're doing. So to the extent possible, draw things out. And when you draw the rectangle, you don't want to just draw something like that. You want to draw it to scale. So if the width is like that and it says that the length is 3 times that, then make 3 different widths across the length and then draw your rectangle. And then use the formula. Obviously pay attention to what it's asking for. It's asking for area. So use the formula for area, plug in your numbers, you'll get your answer. All right, number 3, 5 times 10 to the negative 3. Well, we need to know what a negative exponent is. And here you need to know this exponent rule, that if you have a negative exponent, that just means the entire thing comes down to the denominator and the exponent becomes positive. So that's really 1 over a. If I had something like x to the negative 3, that would be 1 over x cubed. So the 3 becomes a positive 3 in the denominator. So we'll take that 10 to the negative 3 and we'll make that 1 over 10 cubed. So then it's 5 times that, 5 times 1 over 10 cubed. That's 5 times 1 over 1,000, or 5 over 1,000. Well, let's look at these answer choices and let's do process of elimination. 5 over 1,000 is not 500, it's not negative 5,000, and it's not 5,000. So then the question is it 0.05 or 0.005? And here you could plug this into your calculator and figure it out. You can do long division. And you can see that since there's a decimal right there, there needs to be a decimal right there. And this 1,000 goes into 5,000 5 times. So it's going to be 0.005. The answer is E. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found those explanations to be helpful. This is just day 1. The questions were pretty easy. I hope you felt that way, but they will get a lot harder. I am going to be putting up more videos in the days to come. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. I'm JP, this is Justus Prep, and I will see you guys in the next one.